Hey, what's up everybody? Today I am super excited to have a new kit to show you guys. This is going to be a brand new kit tour. I really wanted to go all out with all the cool B-roll to show off all the amazing pieces of this incredible drum set. And all of that is to celebrate Sweetwater's Drum Month. Right now, if you click the link in the top of the description, you can get all sorts of awesome deals on drum gear for yourself. And I love to share in the drum love, so I wanted to make sure you didn't miss those sales. And I wanted to give Sweetwater a huge shout out because the customer service and the deals and the way that they treat people is awesome. And so today we're going to take a look at this kit, which I am actually taking to Sweetwater in a few days to be used in a whole bunch of videos, which I'm really excited about. I spent many hours designing and building this kit to be something really unique, really special. It's the first time that I have used the icon rack here to its full potential. Pearl revamped the icon rack a few years ago, and I've always just used the standard like three-sided curved or three-sided straight setup, maybe added an extra bar on the side for looks, but this is fully custom, designed by me. I worked with my buddy Kevin Packard at Pearl. He gave me some ideas and kind of gave me some tips, and then I just went to town with the pieces that I had and some pieces I ordered to create something really special. So first things first, this is a Pearl Session Studio Select kit in Black Halo Glitter is the finish. Now, these are birch mahogany shells. They are like Pearl's mid-level but like professional grade drums, and this is what I consider to be the sweet spot of drums. You get professional hardware, you get professional shells, you get an amazing kit at what is still an affordable price point. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not like, oh hey, $500, let me get me a, no. But it is a really amazing deal for a pro level kit. And the thing about the Session Studio Select is a lot of the times you can find a shell pack that's the kick drum, 2 rack toms, and 2 floor toms. And so this kit is right there with Pearl's Masters series, the Masters Maple Complete. And when you get a Masters Maple Complete, you only get the kick drum, 2 rack toms, and a single floor tom. And so this typically sits a little bit under the Masters Maple Complete in price and comes with the extra floor toms. So for me, this is the sweet spot. And so one of the things about this kit, of course, is the birch mahogany. So the birch, I mean, that's such a nice EQ'd wood. It really sounds good. But the addition of mahogany on the interior of these drums adds a lot of depth and a lot of just overall punchy, warm, deep sound. And that is what I'm going for when I get a drum set. And so I've fallen in love with these shells over and over again. If you've seen a lot of my videos, you've seen them all the way as far back as the 2 Million drummer collab where like Juan Carlito Mendoza and R. David R. played on a Session Studio Select shell pack. I gave that one away, and then I went and like missed it, so I got another one from Sweetwater, and then I added a few more and I built the mega kit. Off of these shells, like there's so much story behind these drums, and so I keep letting them go and getting them back and then adding to them, and this right here is kind of like my dream configuration. I mean, I love Mega Kit, and if you haven't checked out that video, you got to check it out. It's crazy cool, rocket toms, and like it looks like Mike Mangini's kit is basically what it is. And so this kit itself is more of like the Casey Cooper Special. It's got the 3-up, so you've got an 8x7, a 10x7, and a 12x8. Those are like my favorite sizes right now. I originally, in a lot of my older videos, used to use a 10, 12, 13. So now I've really fallen in love. J-Rod Sullivan kind of turned me on to an 8x7 because he wanted one on a kit that he played here one time. And so ever since then, I've loved the 8, 10, 12. I think the 2-inch difference in overall diameter between these drums, the 8 to the 10 to the 12, allows for like the perfect complementary tuning. And then on my reference pure kit, I did 10, 12, 13, 16, 18. And I love that. I love an 18-inch floor tom. But I've really come to love a really just refined tone, and I use it more often, and it also is easier to set up because of the smaller sizes. And so on this setup here, I have a 14 by 14, and then I have a 16 by 16. And one of the reasons that I don't miss the 18 as much is because this 14 by 14 is so deep for a 14-inch drum because of that mahogany. It just sounds low. It tunes low. And the 16, I mean, it is one of my favorite 16s I've ever played in my entire life. But, of course, I know you are all looking right here. Very excited to add this to my kit. This is a 20 by 14-inch gong drum. And so that's another reason I don't miss the 18, because I wouldn't have room for it anyway. If I did a 16, 18 gong drum, it would be even further away, be harder to reach. And so this 20 by 14 is really, really cool for me because it gives you that punchy bass drum sound with a stick at your disposal. So you can do cool stuff between your hands and feet. You can really add just a low, deep thud to the end of your fills. And those like double hits, like doom, doom, those kinds of things really, really translate even better with a gong drum. And so this is my first time ever having one on a kit that isn't like, oh, let me convert this other bass drum and put Pearl's multi-fit bass drum legs on it. Or, you know, this is like straight up, everything about it is exactly the way I want it, where I want it. And the icon rack has allowed me to really configure something quite spectacular. There's a fly in here. I just saw it fly straight in front of the camera. Anyway, so gong drum. So 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20. So there's a 2-inch difference in between each of the 5 main rack toms, what I'm going to use most of the time. And then we've got that 4-inch, 20, like 4-inch jump from the 16 to the 20 by 14 inch. And man, I put a UVE mat on it, so not only does it match in the look, but you also get the dampening ring, and so you're able to really make that just a quick, punchy hit, and I love that. Now, on the other side of me is the last drum in the Session Studio Select line that I have on this kit, and this is a 14 by 8-inch snare drum. So the Session Studio Select line offers a 14 by 5, then it offers a 14 by 6.5, and then it offers a 14 by 8. And the thing I like about the 14 by 8 is that it allows you to get that deep kind of like, you know, worship tone, or, you know, just like really deep fat sound without necessarily adding a lot of, like, you don't have to use a big fat snare drum on it. You can just use, like here I have 2 of Evan's new EQ pods. And so I use the 2 big ones, which requires 2 packs because there's only 1 big one per pack. But because of that, together, it really adds that low, just fat snare drum sound to it. And I did a little bit of a customization on my own here. I added floor tom legs to it. And what I like about that is floor tom legs are lighter to carry in my drum bag, so it's not as heavy as adding a whole nother snare stand. The flexibility of it, because of where the legs are, you're able to move it around a little bit, fit some pedals around it, and you don't have to worry about the snare drum legs. And so I like that. That is not something that is typically available. I do believe Pearl has a 14 by 10-inch modern utility that comes on floor tom legs, but you can add the brackets yourself. It's not a super complicated process. You just have to be careful to make sure you protect the shell. So the main snare on this kit, and it's not my typical go-to snare, it's a new snare that I'm trying out, and I really, really haven't loved it and enjoyed it so far. I really got it to be just the ultimate recording live drum for the videos at Sweetwater, because a lot of different sales engineers and a lot of different just drummers at Sweetwater are going to get to play this kit. So I wanted, wow, this thing is straight attacking me. Come on, let me get you. I think the quick drummer reflexes got it. Can't believe that, you know, the fly's just been hanging out in the video. Anyway, so this snare drum right here is a 14 by 6.5. It's the Duolux, which is the 75th anniversary snare drum from Pearl that is a chrome over brass. And if you know anything about a COB, a chrome over brass, it's like the penultimate of metal drums. There's so many drummers who have recorded and used chrome over brass. I actually bought a vintage one from the like 70s to like kind of compare, because this is what it's kind of built around and designed after, is those chrome over brass snares that Pearl used to create. And so it's a beautiful drum. It's so shiny. It's got this like just chrome mirror finish on the outside of it, and it sounds luscious. It has so much response and so much depth to it. Honestly, like the 14 by 6.5 Duolux could do everything that the 14 by 8 could do as well. So like in this scenario, I almost would rather have like an igniter snare as a 14 by 5 over here. But because this one matches the kit, and because I have this one tuned up a little bit higher, I did decide to have these two drums and have this be the main, and then do the aux drum that's really unique with the floor tom legs and matches and everything. And so, man, this, like these drums in itself, without considering anything else, this just like, I sit back here and I'm like, man, I am one lucky dude, because the finish, the Black Halo glitter, is absolutely one of my favorite finishes from Pearl of all time. I mean, literally, like, I don't know if there, besides like maybe a custom Masterworks finish, the only thing that I think comes close for me, there's a Scarlet Sparkle Burst in the Reference Pure line that I've always thought about getting. But like the black with the glitter, it's just like, it's classy. So it's like that way of being a little flashy while also being classy. And the thing about this kit is that it is, the finish is no longer, it's discontinued in this Pearl Session Studio Select line. So you can't necessarily find these drums for sale anywhere, but because of, like, ever since I started using them in my videos and showing off how beautiful this finish is in person, and on camera and in the right lighting and stuff, there have been a lot of people who have said to me, like, where can I get this kit? And so Pearl still has the option of getting this exact finish. You can call up your sales engineer at Sweetwater, or I believe there's a landing page, and I'll link it in the description, where you can order this kit. You'll just have to wait for it. But I promise you, it is worth the wait. I just waited to add the some different shell sizes to the configuration because of what I sold and what I sent to a few different churches and what I sent to friends. Like, I ended up with a kind of a weird configuration. And so when I saw these were available, I finally pulled the trigger and got them back into the studio, where I now have the 22 by 16 kick drum, which is, to me, there's two sweet spots. Like, I love the 24 by 14 that Pearl has in this line. It is huge. I had one at one point in time. I used it in the mega kit, and I had quite a few people tell me, like, that's the drum for me. But in my opinion, just because of the mahogany and because of the ease of setup with a smaller kick drum, I really love the 20 by 14, which I have over there. And it's basically similar to the Gong drum here, and so I didn't think that made sense to have a 20 by 14 kick and a 20 by 14 Gong drum, so I have the 22 by 16. And so when it comes to recording, when it comes to session work, and when it comes to any live gig where I'm trying for like a really big sound, I do tend to go towards the 22 by 16. But the thing about it is, if you like the ease of setup, you like to have your drums lower, you like carrying lighter drums, the 20 by 14 it has so much low end and so much punch for a 20-inch drum. And so I really am back and forth on whether I prefer a 20-inch kick or a 22-inch kick right now, but both of them sound amazing in the Session Studio Select line. And so I don't think there is like a wrong answer for you on a shell pack. I think you'll love the 20, and that comes with a 10, 12, 14, 16, and then I think you love the 22, which also comes with a 10, 12, 14, 16, if you get the one that comes with the extra floor tom. And then there is the 24, 13, 16, 18, I believe, if you can find those. And so all of the shell packs are really, really special. Now, outside of the drums, let's talk a little bit about the cymbals here. And so I did switch things up a little bit for this kit. I've been playing a lot of the K-Sweets, and I think the K-Sweets overall are my like favorite go-to cymbals. I feel like I can use them for anything. If I were going to suggest one cymbal pack, it would be the K-Sweets, and I'll link those in the description there. You get a set of K-Sweets, and I don't think there's a gig that you can't fill with some K-Sweets. But for this, I changed up the cymbals a little bit. I got this over here, which is an 18-inch K Dark Thin Crash. And then over here, I got a 19-inch K Dark Crash. And so the K Darks are really, really versatile, beautiful sounding cymbals. I'm very happy with them as crashes. And then I went kind of the opposite direction, but I still K, and I went K light hats, but I did 15s. So I really like a bigger hat, and the 15-inch K light hats, just like, I think they're the perfect middle ground between a 14 and a 16, and just the overall response from them is fantastic. And then the K Light Ride, the big boy, this is a 24-inch ride cymbal. And so it just like, it washes, it crashes, it's got a great bell, it's got great definition on the cymbal itself, on the bow, the bow. And so those are like my main cymbals in this setup. Going to the rest of the cymbals here, I did want to provide a lot of effects sounds. I've really fallen in love with the idea of effects and the creativity that you can have from them. So I do have this K Special Dry Splash cymbal. It's a 10-inch. I have the 16-inch FX stack. The FX stacks are cool from Zildjian because they have quite a few different sizes. So you could get multiple sizes and have two different sounds. You can stack them like a stacker, or you can stack them like a pair of hats. They come with this cool, like, I believe they bought out like Cymbal or something, and that's what they use for them. But they're relatively affordable stackers that I think you get great sounds out of. Then I have this over here, which is really, really cool. This is from Zildjian's concept shop, and it's not really something you can go and get. It's something I got a while back as like a special thing, and so you got to check out the concept shop from Zildjian and wait until they release something special and pick it up, because there's so many like really unique items that they have very limited quantities of. And then I have two Chinas here. I love the symmetry of a kit, so that's why the crash cymbals are in like the exact same location. And then you've got the China cymbals kind of in the exact same location. I've got an 18-inch Zildjian Oriental Trash China over here, and then I've got an 18-inch Zildjian Special Dry China. And so this is one of my favorite Chinas. I love the Oriental Trash China range, but if I was going to suggest one, the Special Dry China is really unique because it like gets in and then gets out of your way. And it has a great sound to it. It looks really cool as well, which, I mean, looks aren't everything, but like I love the holes and the special shapes. And so when I add those to a kit, I think it makes it look more unique. And then I do have an aux hat setup over here. These are the K Custom Session hi-hats, and these are really, I think if I were going to pick one set of like really responsive, really articulate hi-hat cymbals, I would use the K Custom Sessions, which is why they are my aux hat in this scenario. You can really get just such a distinctive articulate sound out of those hats, and I love them. Lastly, from the overhead angle here, you can see I have lots of pedals. And so these right here, these are the Demon chain pedals from Pearl. So Pearl has the Demon drives, which I think are probably more popular overall just because of the fact that if you're looking for a pedal like that, oftentimes you're looking for that direct drive feel. I've had the Demon drives. I've found I'm more of a chain drive player. I love the power of the chain drive, the smoothness of the chain drive, and it doesn't get any more powerful and smooth than the Demon chain pedals here. They look incredible. They feel incredible. They're so fast. They have so many adjustments that you can make in order to make it exactly the way that you want. Then I have the Redline Eliminator hi-hat, the 2-leg stand so that it fits easily in between next to my kick drum pedals. And then on the left side of that, I have the aux hat. That is a remote hi-hat. Also got the Redline Eliminator foot pedal. And so sometimes I use the Redline Eliminator kick drum pedals so all the pedal boards match, but I really wanted to do the Demon chains just because of how incredible they feel. The Redline Eliminators, I think, are right there with them, and I don't think that either one would necessarily make you a better player or a faster player. I think it's just a little bit of personal preference on some of the adjustments here. And the Demon chain pedals can actually be a short board or a long board. So you can adjust it to where you get that long board feel, which makes it easier for the faster double kick playing. And a lot of guys really prefer the long board style. Now, lastly, you can look at the rack system here, and I'll have to show a lot of B-roll because it's hard to get it into the shot because it's low to the ground. But the idea behind this, the idea behind the rack system was to create a rack that was low and out of the way, but also super supportive, super sturdy, minimalistic in a way, because I love to show off the finish of the drums. I don't want the rack system up in front of the rack toms and blocking it. So instead, you kind of get this really open look from the front. And all of that is achieved by taking the curved icon rack, and the way they make the new icon rack setups is the feet. You have different ways of connecting it. You can connect it to like one of the upright poles, and then you can connect your bars across the upright poles. But the actual rack bars themselves can connect to the feet. And so what I did here is I connected the rack bars to the front foot and then have them curve up. And the really cool thing about Pearl's icon rack setup is you can get a cheap pipe cutter from like Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can cut down your bars, or you can cut down your poles. You can also cut down your bars, but not with a pipe cutter. And so all of this has been configured with shorter pipes. So what I did was I took a long, I guess they're like 36 inches or 40 inches or something like that, and I actually typically cut them about in half. And then you can use the PCL 100s, which are right here. If you can see that, these actually just attach to the top of any of the Pearl rack poles. And so I got some PCL 100s, put them on top of the cut down poles, and then I was able to create these short little legs that are out of the way. Now, I still use some longer ones in the back. It's really unique because they're actually like slanted backwards, which gives it this like, I want to say like motorcycle or like sports car feel. I did take a little bit of inspiration from a recent kit that Kevin Packard at Pearl did with like a car company or a racing company or something. And so he did a similar thing where he had the bars mounted across, like laying in this curved pattern, and it just really looks very streamlined, very unique. There's so many like really incredible pieces to the icon rack puzzle that you can do whatever it is you want with them. I mean, right here, I've got this connector that allows you to just put two pipes right next to each other. And so I have two short pipes clamped to each other. I've got the short little icon rack connector bar that's often used for double bass setups. I have that holding on to a main post that is secured to the two curved arms that are curved bars that are really like the structure of the rack. And then I have some of the other unique pieces that come in and help support it even more, because it's a lot of weight for this 12-inch tom, this FX stack, this remote hi-hat, the hardware for it, all coming off of that one pole. And so I secondary supported it in a way that I think looks cool, because the pipe is coming this way and then it's like feeding back and holding on to it. And then the other main thing that I used in this setup, and you'll see a few, well, I guess 2 situations where I use them. I use them for a lot of different setups now, but these boomerang arms. So the boomerangs, I'm sorry, but like they're really cool. Like, some people are like, oh, well, they're just kind of like, weird or extra. You could just use a straight arm, but you can't. Like, this curves perfectly around the bottom side of the hi-hat and allows me to put the crash cymbal exactly where I want it without hitting the hi-hat. If it were a straight bar, I couldn't put the cymbal right there. I would have to put it much lower. And so having that curved look, I did it symmetrically, like I said, because I really love this symmetrical view from the front. And I've used these. You can actually slide these little adapters on there, and you can slide them to the middle of the boom arm. You can slide them to the end. You can put it directly on the end. You can have multiple on the same. I ended up not using it on this setup, but I've used them in a lot of recent videos where I have one boomerang arm and I have 3 effect cymbals on that one arm. So you use one stand, one arm. You put, like, I have a splash cymbal, a zill bell, and a FX stacker most of the time on that. And it allows you to place all 3 in a really cool, unique way in one spot. And so the boomerang arms, you can get them where they come with a clamp, and you can clamp it to the leg of your kick drum, and you can curve it up over the kick drum. You can clamp it to another cymbal stand and have it go around a cymbal to have 2 cymbals on a single stand. They are super, super useful, and when you combine them with all the other parts of a rack like this, you're able to create something really, really unique. And so this gong drum back here is actually supported off of a single bar that comes out, and it goes on each side into the tom mounts on the side of the gong drum. You can do it that way, or you can actually mount it from the inside of the gong drum, which is a cleaner look. But where I wanted it, the way that the bars worked out, I really liked having it mounted from the outside, and I think it's a really sturdy, I mean, like, I can shake that thing and I can hit it really hard and it's not going anywhere, and I can exactly like clamp it and make sure that it stays exactly where I want it to at all times. So all in all, just like a phenomenal kit. I've got the Earthworks mics all over this, DM20s on the toms. I've got the DM20 on the snare right now, SR25 for the crotch mic. I've got SR25 on the aux snare over here, SR25 overheads. I have a DM20 on the inside of the gong drum, just a little bit inside the shell, so you get some depth to it, but you also get a nice punch, and it helps to isolate the mic even more from the rest of the cymbals and drums. And so these DM20s and all of the mics from Earthworks have really great rejection and isolation to them. The thing about these Earthworks mics is if you spend the money on a really high-end kit, anything like Session Studio Select and above, is you're getting that, like, I think you can take an export kit and put good Evans drum heads on there and tune it well, and it can sound like 90% of the way there. But if you really want that like 99% of the tone or the 100% of the best drum sound that you can get out of a drum set, upgrading to the higher end hardware and the higher end shells is going to get you there. But the problem with drum mics is that you can take a high end kit and put cheap drum mics on it, and that high end kit no longer sounds like a high end kit. You can take a cheaper kit, like an export kit, put Earthworks mics on it, and it's going to make it sound much better and easier if you tune it well and you know what you're doing making the drums sound well, because these literally just show you how great the kit sounds. A lot of drum mics color it. A lot of drum mics hold your drums back because of the way they squash the sound and change the sound and don't pick up all the sound. These Earthworks microphones are like taking your headphones off and listening to the drums as they are. And so you get a kit like this singing and sounding so good with these Evans UV2 heads all across there, HD dries on the snare. I got an EMAD 2 on the kick drum there, a clear one, so lots of punch, lots of attack. You get it sounding the way you want. You don't want your drum mics to hold you back. And so I just like, I've shown it to a million engineers, and every single one immediately wants Earthworks mics after they try them. And so I know that they are a higher price point, and I don't typically try to push people towards more expensive things because I know that, you know, money is a lot. You know, you don't want to just throw away your money. But when it comes to drum mics, these drum mics are worth every penny. And if you're going to spend the kind of money that you would on a kit like this, then spending that kind of money on the mics is going to take your mixes to the next level. It's going to take your tracking ability to the next level. Engineers are going to love it. You're going to love it. Your drums are going to sound absolutely phenomenal in the studio and live. And so all in all, this kit is just fantastic. Like, it's hard not to smile just sitting back here playing it. And man, I love it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this mic and I'm going to set it in front of the kit, and I'm going to record the drums just through this microphone. I've already like shown you some snippets of the drums themselves at the beginning, and some of the close mic'd sound that you can get out of the kit, how great the kit sounds. I have a cover on it already, the Heathens cover. Ton of fun. I debuted the Evo 16 by Audient, and so now I'm just going to go and set this up front, track them through the one mic so you can hear just how great these things sound in the room, and I'm gonna have some fun playing drums. So let's do that. Thank you for checking out the kit tour. Links in the description to all the amazing gear, and you got awesome drum month sales at Sweetwater right now. So click the link. The amazing customer service, the way that they treat you, the way that they just handle your gear is unmatched in the industry. They make sure that you are taken care of, and if anything goes wrong, they fix it. And I love that about them. I barely ever have heard a story of anything going wrong, which is the awesome part. But I have heard a story or two, and they've always taken care of those people. If you're, you know, FedEx does something with your package, or, you know, whatever, like, there is going to be a team of people and a sales engineer who you can directly call and ask questions and make sure that you're getting exactly what you need. And they want to help you out. So link in the description, drum month deals, go shop at Sweetwater. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to play these drums. Let's go.